Now, let's talk about adding a form to your project. So I've done a search for responsive form, and there are many forms. And the best thing to do is try them out and find one which just works for you. Okay? Some are more visual than others, some have better documentation than others. So probably like most plugins, look for one that has a lot of reviews, a lot of installs, and of course it helps if the plugin is compatible with your current version of WordPress. Being said, I went ahead and for this demo, I installed WPForms. This one is pretty silly easy, all right? So while we're here, I'll just also point out I haven't used Pop-Up Maker, but this one looks pretty interesting if maybe you want content or even a form in a pop-up window. Now, pop-ups aren't always the best thing. Like they mention here, for a unique user experience, well, in some cases, pop-ups are thought to be malicious. So you might want to do a little research before you use a pop-up. If what you find out says they're okay, then cool. All right. Okay, so I've already installed and activated WPForms. Before I go too much further, look right up here. Okay, not secure. I do not have a secure socket, meaning the site is not encrypted, and that basically means moving users' content, like through a form, otherwise capturing their information and moving that information to you via email is not secure. So I don't have the test server as for our class as secure. Okay. If you have your own hosting service, then that is an option. And if you are going to capture anyone's information, make sure that you are working with HTTPS, so you have a secure connection. All right, with that said, I have already installed WPForms. So let's go over, and I've already created a form, but before we take a look at this, what I want to point out is you can go into, where is it here? About. Now, when you install WPForms, you're going to see a screen, and that screen is going to have a how-to. You check out that video, I guarantee you'll be able to use and install a form by the end of that video. It's like 5-6 minutes. Matter of fact, you probably won't even need to watch the entire video. Okay, so if you missed that, you can always go back to About Us and learn about the company, but again, get started, and this will really help you out for learning how to use the form, or if you just have a question later on. Okay, now the next part we're going to look at before we look at our form is if you go to Settings and you have your general settings. More important, if we go back up here, you can go to email and you can set up the basic configuration, if you will. So if you want a header image, you can upload an image that will become part of each of your forms, as well as a background color. Okay, so the default is the HTML, but know that you can add a header image and you can change the background color. Now, especially since the server is not secure, and even if you do have a secure server, you'll probably want to go ahead and enable Captcha. Okay, so I really recommend that you use checkbox Captcha v2 version 2. Okay, I wouldn't mess with these other two until you're much more comfortable with using Captcha and integrating Captcha into a secure site. All right, so if we scroll down, you'll see site key and secret key. So what you need to do is, I've done a search here. You can see the URL, but this is how to get Google Captcha key. All right. And then if you look at this image, when you do the search, basically you're going to see the interface. All right. So to see this interface, what you need to do is, let's just go to Safari, and you can go to Captcha. You can learn more. That link should take you to the developer's guide, and if you scroll down a little bit, you can sign up for an API key. Okay, this is your key pair. So what's going to happen is you're going to be asked to sign in to your Google account, which you should have through school. Okay, depending on which school you're going to. If you don't have a Google account, get a Google account, go ahead and sign in, and then you'll go to your developer area. Okay, so as an example, here is my Google Captcha, and you can see that I have this set up, and this is really easy. All you do is add a domain. So here is my key. I can go back to settings. Okay, so this is my domain. It says I have one site. You can add or create a new. We can go to settings. In settings, I've added the subdomain that I'm working with. Okay, and then up above you'll see your Captcha keys. Now I'm not going to open this up, but you will see your two keys, which you can copy paste. All right, so that being said, let's go back. You would then copy those keys here, and you should have Captcha. All right, so now let's go to our forms, and we'll just do an edit. Now when you make your first form, okay, you can add new, or all forms, add new. This is your short code, which you can copy paste. Unless you're using WordPress blocks, then basically all of this is available through the block. All right, so let's go ahead and edit. And you can choose, actually when you create a new form, you'll be given a choice of the type of form. I chose a basic contact form. And you can see that that basic form is created for you. You can watch the directions on exactly how all of this works, okay? But it's really straightforward. Again, just watch their video. Then we can go into settings, and we have general, notification, and confirmation settings, okay? All right, so there's the setup. This is where you could choose the particular type of form you want to work with or start with. All right, I'm going to go back to fields. And in fields, you'll see one of the options is Captcha, and you should be able to add Captcha to your form, assuming you've gone through the steps that I mentioned before we got to this part right here. All right, so I went ahead and pasted in my site keys, which I was just talking about. And in my form, I have my form active. I clicked on Captcha, and as you can see, Captcha has been enabled for this form. Okay, so we'll click OK, and then we need to save. And we should be ready to now use our form. So we could click embed, okay, and here is our short code. Or once we save, we can exit, and here is your short code. Okay, all right, so now if you just go to your pages, I've created a contact us page. I've added this to the menu also. So if we edit, here is the basic form page, and here is my short code. So what I've done is I've added a couple of elements, and I've just used inline styles instead of my CSS. So I've just put some basic styling, some basic formatting on our form. So I'm going to go ahead and update this, and then we'll go and take a look at our form. Let's go to our site now and check out our form. Again, I'm doing my development work in Chrome, and then I'm testing in Safari. And if I haven't gone over this before, make sure you install your developer tools, and then in your develop menu you can enter the responsive design mode. Okay, and then you'll be able to see different devices. All right, so let's just go back where we were here, and I'll just point out that you can also change the pixel density of your screen here, and then you can also switch between different web developer environments, which is kind of cool. Okay, so let's just go to our contact page, and you will see your form. Okay, and Captcha should be installed. So now whenever you fill out your form and you click "You're not a robot," then you'll get the typical Captcha.